Now let's get to it, folks. I'm going to remove that blocker, and we'll see my army. 5 Gobos, single nasty Skulker. We got the 8 Peak Loonies, 2 Forest Goblin Spider Riders, 2 Wolf Rider Archers, 1 Spider Archer, 2 Gobbo Chariots, Trolls, 2 Giants, and a single Doom Diver Catapult. And my opponent has brought the Air Force from hell, and it's going to immediately pressure me like insane. So he's going to have 4 Pterodon Riders and Ripperdactyl Riders, and immediately I'm going to send Azag over here to Spirit Leech them and start running away, because if I get caught by these in the air, they will shred through Azag, and I'm actually taking too long to run away there, but I do have Foe Seeker popped, and I'm kind of baiting them into this Archer Fire, hoping I can kill them off, and immediately they're just going to start taking so much damage from that Spirit Leech and the mobile missile support. We're going to continue firing away, desperately want to kill them off, and I'm actually going to send Azag into combat against him now because I want to slow him down and hopefully kill him, but Arrow's going to recognize what I'm doing and just continue to run away with them. Meanwhile, over here, the Pterodon Riders are doing much better. They have made my Doom Diver Catapult route. It's wavering, so I'm not going to get any shots off for now. And just a moment, I'm pretty sure I'm going to abandon the chase. Yeah, send my missile units over back to take care of the Pterodon Riders, because one thing I notice is my opponent doesn't have much ranged infantry. He has the skink cohorts, but as long as I play it safe, I should be able to stay away, and I really want to make sure these Ripperdactyl Riders do not come back, so I spend another Spirit Leech on them and keep chasing him with Azag to make sure they are not a factor the rest of the game. My opponent continuing to just focus on these Doom Diver Catapults in the back line, doing my best to counter skirmish, but just seems like we're not getting the most damage done, and he continues to threaten my back line and cost me a lot of my micro. You can see I'm kind of not doing anything with my front line, maybe not paying attention as much as I should have, but I do have my infantry over here in the forest with the Forest Goblin Spider Riders hidden. Kind of wanted to take a staggered, layered approach. I know the Goblins are going to terror route immediately, but them terror routing immediately also means the dinos aren't doing too much damage, and they'll come back. And then I have the Unbreakable Infantry up front too, just to buy as much time as possible, get my artillery online, and continue pressuring these Pterodon Riders. Over here, I'm actually going to abandon the chase on the Ripperdactyls, but then they're going to start coming back, so I'm going to send Azag off against them again. And now we are able to get a smoke bomb off on top of the Pterodon Riders. So 3 of them here with our nasty Skulkers, which is really going to help us a lot in that counter skirmish fight, as we're able to slow them down, which lets us get a lot more fire down on top of them. Going to see an Apotheosis going down on top of those guys. And now my Giants, still haven't been doing anything this battle, just kind of waiting in the back lines. I've been using my Forest Goblin Spider Riders to try to pressure these skinks on the flanks. We have more skink cohort coming in over here who I'm going to engage with these Goblins and Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And so far, the battle I'm feeling okay about. I've taken some damage, but my artillery's still alive. I have completely forgotten about my Goblin Wolf Chariots, which is a huge loss of value, because imagine what they could be doing against the skink cohort right here. And for the moment, I've been able to successfully counter the Pterodon Riders and get them the hell away from me. Ripperdactyl Riders are off the map, so I'm bringing Azag around. Him being full health makes me feel very, very happy and comfortable with what's going on, but we'll see how the battle progresses from here. Lord Mazdamundi being brought in to engage the Greenskins, in a nice ruination of cities going down there, doing a lot of damage to that Gobbo infantry. And so far though, the dinos are alive, the Pterodon Riders are still alive, but we've won the infantry engagement for the most part, it seems. We're routing a lot of them, and now I finally get my Gobbo Wolf Chariots over here to start attacking the skink cohort, send some Forest Goblin Spider Riders over there to start chasing those units off the map. And here comes a banishment, and it's doing a lot of damage actually to my Wolf Archers, and it's going to go on the Trolls, but fortunately they're not going to suffer too much from it. And yeah, at the moment, this is the huge mistake I make though, because I come over here, land Azag for a moment, get greedy, and look at this, and Nedabim Mintok thrown down on Azag, and immediately all of the dinos are going to come over here and just start pummeling him. And that's when I need to get out here ASAP. I'm trying to get my Giants over here. I'm trying to get everything in here, but a Feral Carnosaur nicely being microed around the flank, and Arrow has tasted the blood, he smells blood in the water, and he is coming over here and just devastating my war boss Azag here, which is going to potentially cost me the entire game because Azag is the linchpin. I need him, and he has just taken, what, 80% of damage because of one bad misplay, and that just goes to show why I can never underestimate a player of Aerocrastic skill level. One mistake, and he has immediately started to turn around this battle from a position where I honestly thought I was doing pretty well. But just one bad play, and Aerocrastic sees it, capitalizes on it, and this battle's in a totally different position. However, I'm still feeling okay. I have my trolls, my giants, but the Feral Carnosaur comes over to support Mazdamundi, and they're just devastating this giant. Not to mention the Pterodon Riders are all focus firing him, and my giants, unsupported by infantry and Azag, are just getting crushed at the moment. I mean, I've fortunately been able to take care of the rest of the infantry, but at this point, I'm running out of options to deal with the dinos, as off camera my artillery, the Doom Diver catapults, have been dealt with. Over here, the giant's going to continue trying to stay in combat, but it seems like that one got staggered. They're not getting very many good hits off. I may very well be changing targets too much, causing them to lose attack animations. But here they go, trying to get in combat, but outnumbered 3-1. These giants are just getting crushed, and by the time Azag comes back, things are looking pretty bleak. Trolls are going to dive into support, but at this point, it's just looking like it's going to be too little too late, and a very big misplay by the Greenskin player here that was just beautifully capitalized on by the Lizardmen forces. He didn't use Net of a Mintalk until he saw that beautiful opportunity. At this point, I'm going to decide the best thing Azag could do is come kill off the Pterodon Riders in aerial combat, rather than diving down and potentially getting knocked out with one nice hit. Have our archers over here trying to shoot into Mazdamundi. The giant here starting to lose a lot of leadership, and Azag, I think, needs to get closer to this blob to support them with his leadership area of effect. But at this point, this battle is going really pear-shaped. We have Forest Goblin Spider Riders on the periphery. Goblin Wolf Chariots have finished off the skinks. We still have two more skink cohort with javelins over here to deal with, though. And the biggest problem is all of the dinosaur monsters are still alive. Feral Carnosaur, Mazdamundi, and the Thunderous One are all still here, and I'm desperately trying to peel them apart and stop my giants from routing. There goes another smoke bomb. It didn't catch the Feral Carnosaur, unfortunately, and immediately all those units are going to start terror routing. Azag's going to take a face full of javelins from those skink cohort, and that's no fun. That's no fun at all. A Wah has been popped, and looks like I'm finally going to be able to get some terror caused on these Pterodon Riders, and perhaps save this giant from an imminent doom. And there goes the terror route. And balance of power in favor of the Lizardmen, but over here I'm regaining my giants. That makes me feel a bit better about life. My trolls are still healthy. They have 10 models and they can regenerate. Nasty Skulkers just got discovered, and very cleverly, I think, out of all the targets, Aerocrastic is going to target the right one here, diving into those Nasty Skulkers. And over here, I'm just going to be doing my best to, bring the balance of power as far in my favor as possible by dealing with every periphery unit I can find, and it looks like Aerocrastic is doing exactly the same, killing off all the units he can catch. I'm trying to run away with my trolls because they're going to be absolutely key to win this battle if I have any chance. And yeah, fortunately they're going to stop getting chased, but at this point he starts coming for the giant that's isolated, and I really need to start regrouping as quickly as possible. It looks like I'm going to start trying to do that, but that Feral Carnosaur is so much faster than my giant. He is just not getting away. I'm wondering why I'm not sending these guys in here. I need to sacrifice them. Oh, look at that. I heard myself. They're going to go out, try to block for the Feral Carnosaur, but that was far too late. And this giant now has already gotten stuck in combat, is starting to waver. He's down to 238 HP. And the Thunderous One, honestly, I should have just taken some pot shots off the Feral Carnosaur there. I don't know what I was thinking. Very nicely played to him, though, in terms of his unit prioritization. Going after that giant that was isolated, I'm desperately trying to regroup what I have, but I think at this point the writing's on the wall. My giants are just too weak, and the Lizardmen can heal. and the 3 single entity monsters, their terror just reign supreme. However, once again, another thing people underestimate about Goblin Wolf Chariots is they still at least have the mass to stop a Feral Carnosaur and break up that charge. And now the Giant's going to come in. It's going to miss that initial shot by the looks of it. I have Azag diving in a desperate attempt to cycle charge these units to death while the Trolls hold them down. But I don't think that's going to be happening here. My Troll's throwing up all over the Thunderous one. Mazdamundi and the Feral Carnosaur are doing just fine in combat. Azag diving in once again. And we'll see how he does, getting some decent damage in the rear here. But at this point, the balance of power is starting to get really out of favor. I have more Goblins diving into combat, desperately throwing their bodies here to save this effort. But fortunately, I do not think I will come out victorious in this Greenskin Lizardman battle. A very nice game to my opponent. And yeah, from here it's going to be over. I mean, I almost... Mazdamundi's leadership is so low, and somehow Azag is still alive, but yeah, Spirit Leech going down. Yeah, I'm very, very desperate. And yeah, at this point, I should concede soon because clearly it's over. By the way, guys, let me know if the sound was bad or something. I want to make sure this isn't completely silent on the game end or my voice end. But yeah, Azag the Slaughterer. I love him to death, but this battle's over. Apotheosis going down on top of Mazdamundi again. Trolls coming over, and immediately army loss is going to kick in. And a great second game to Aerocrastic, bringing this series to a 1-1. So we're going to an ace match for this this best of 3, and yeah, that was a fun battle. Tested my micro to the extreme, and just huge shout out to Aero there for playing it so beautifully. And honestly, I made that one key mistake. I think I was in a good position, but then yeah, that damn Net of a Mintok turned that battle completely around, and he just crushed me from there. And it's not just the Net of a Mintok, it's how I reacted after the Net of a Mintok. It was very clear that I was flustered trying to get everything in there to save Azag the Slaughterer, but in reality what I did is I just sent everyone to their death. The Giants didn't need to get in combat there to save Azag. He was able to pull out, and in the process I sent them in unsupported against a bunch of dino monsters and paid the price, clearly. You know, I was relying on these Giants in the late game to be my ace in the hole, to be supported by Trolls and, you know, Gobbo Infantry and Force Common Spider Riders to just be able to crush the dinosaurs in the late game. But because of that misplay with Azag, I got them drawn into combat far too soon, and Aerocrastic with a beautiful victory there. 302 kills on Mazdamundi, 211 on the Thunderous one, and 95 on the Feral Carnosaur. Ripperdactyl Riders, unfortunately, didn't get the most value, but I think that was just, you know, I got lucky with the deployment and how he attacked me. I don't think he really noticed the missile power on the ground, and I figured that Azag would be a very juicy target for Ripperdactyl Riders, so I like that decision. I just think, unfortunately, it didn't work out for him with the ground support I had for Azag. But moving on to the next game, it's going to be round 3, ace match. So